You knew this one was coming. The main weapons. They are, well, the main thing you'll use to ink turf and splat opponents. And it's a major part of the core gameplay since, obviously, different weapon classes play differently to each other. Once again, it's based off how useful they are in the online battles and how much fun they are to use. Also, to get some of the inevitable cards out of the way, yes, my teammates are idiots. They're not useless. Well, actually, they are. And if you disagree with my opinions, that's great. Mine are probably rubbish anyway. So let's end this month with a bang. In the original, my main was the Trislosher, because it had my favourite sub and special combination, and it was very good at getting splats in, and the latter of which did carry over to the Trislosher's in this game, with opponents being splatted in 2 hits of the weapon and having a really good range. It's also surprisingly a lot of fun to just chuck paint out, but the kits they have in this game aren't the best. Out of the bunch, I'd say the Trislosher deco has the best. Sure, the sub sucks, the sprinkler is only really useful for charging up a special, and even then the amount of ink the sub uses, it's really not worth it. But I love the baller special. You can travel faster anywhere on the map, and even up certain walls, and cause a giant explosion when you like, or when time runs out. So it can be quite good at crushing enemy defenses. Sure, the Trislosher has the burst bomb launcher, but I prefer the baller special. However, if I wanted to use a Trislosher, this wouldn't be my first pick. When used correctly, rollers can be absolute beasts, considering they can one-shot you by running over you, apart from the carbon rollers, and some of them, the dynamos more specifically, any of their attacks can one-shot you, but they're incredibly slow, which leaves you vulnerable. And then there's some that are a lot faster, like the previously mentioned carbon rollers, where even the rolling won't one-shot an opponent unless they've already taken damage. So I like the ones that were in the middle of these two, more specifically, the Splat Roller. As I feel this has the best mix of mobility and damage output. It's also really cool how the rollers have 2 different swings. If you're on the ground, you get a nice spread in front of you, but if you swing it in the air, you get a nice vertical swing which can chuck in quite a good distance, and its power can easily wipe out someone in 2 swings. I also love the sub and special combination. The curling bombs leave a trail of ink behind, allowing you to quickly swim through it, potentially making a great getaway, and the Splashdown is my favourite special as it's quick and one-shots anyone within a certain radius, and even anyone who isn't one-shotted will still be heavily damage, leaving them vulnerable to another swing. I mainly use this weapon in Rainmaker because of its high damage output and its sub and special combination, and I've had a lot of success in that mode with this weapon. The Trislosher is good, but the Trislosher is leaps ahead of it. I love this base weapon as it's amazing at covering turf and splatting opponents. The Trislosher has very good range and spread as it fires out 1 slosh of ink in front and 2 other sloshes to each of the sides, so you can get a lot of turf covered quickly. And there's also the fact they can splat opponents in 2 hits just like the Trislosher deco. Okay, this weapon does a little less damage, but that'll almost never make a difference. And because of its range, that's very easy to do, even if it is less than the normal sloshers. If I ever want to splat anyone in turf war, the Trislosher is the way to go, especially if they're on lower ground. This weapon also has my favourite sub-weapon in the game, the burst bomb. As like I previously said, it directly hits opponents, and it's not that ink consuming, so you can fire several ones, making it even easier to get splats in. And the ink armor can help prevent you and your teammates from being splatted, making the chances of splatting someone even greater. This is one weapon that can be really nasty to go up against, especially in the ranked battles. It's actually another really good choice for Rainmaker, I find. Not my first choice, but still really useful, and if it's useful in turf wars and a ranked battle, it's worthy of a spot on this list. Spoiling the rest of this list now, a lot of my favourite weapons are the shooters, with one of my favourites being the Aerospray RG. For starters, it has the highest firing rate out of all the shooters, and a really nice spread, so it's phenomenal inking turf quickly. The shots are pretty weak, and you need 5 of them to splat someone, but because of how fast they're coming out, if you're at point blank range, that's unlikely to be an issue. The sub is the Sprinkler, which I'm obviously not the biggest fan of, and the special is the Baller, which I've already praised before. The insane firing rate can make this one an absolute beast in turf war. It's actually one of the 8 weapons I've managed to get to Super Fresh on, along with Custom Splash Shot Junior and 6 of the later weapons, and considering you have to win more games than lose to get to that point, this weapon must be doing something right in the turf wars, and that fire rate combined with the baller special also makes this a great choice for splat zones as well, especially if you can get that baller to explode in the splat zones. And believe it or not, that's not my favourite of the Aerosprays. The base weapon is the exact same as the last one, so there's no real point of me going over it again, but the Aerospray MD has been one of my favourites from very early on. The only difference here between the last weapon and this weapon is the sub and special combination. Its sub is the Suction Bomb, which gives you a great long range option and also makes it a great choice in tower control, since the bomb will stick to the surface of the tower, and the high firing rate makes this weapon dangerous to deal with on the tower as well. And the special is the Curling Bomb Launcher, which is alright I guess. It's an okay special for turf war, but it's not very good in tower control, which is where I mostly use this weapon. If it had a more suitable special weapon for tower control, it'd have been in the top half easily. And believe it or not, that's not my favourite of the Aerosprays. In my opinion, the PG has the best sub and special combination out of the Aerosprays. With its short range, the Burst Bomb makes easily the best long range option it could have had, that your base weapon could only dream of reaching, especially because it damages on contact. And the Booyah Bomb is also a really great long range option, not to mention it's good up close, as it can heavily damage anyone near you, to the point where another Burst Bomb, which considering using the special completely refills your ring, will splat the opponent. And like I already said, the Booyah Bomb can help your teammates build up your specials. Well, if they could stay alive for once they would, so it's a weapon that can help others as well. And that's why it's my favourite of the Aerosprays. But at the end of the day, the Aerosprays are some of the most useful weapons in the game, especially in turf war, because of their insane fire rates. One of the new weapon types added to Splatoon 2 were the Dualies, which are now one of my favourite weapon classes, as you essentially get 2 weapons and the ability to dodge roll twice. In other words, you can squid jump and not guarantee being splattered upon landing. Unfortunately, a lot of them are let down by their kits, but there's one weapon I've loved ever since it first came out in June last year. Mainly because of its insane range. It can give some of the chargers a run for their money, but its long range makes it really easy to splat people from a distance, especially when they're struggling to get you because of your dodge rolling. So yeah, these things can be a killing machine. This weapon has even helped me win 3v4s. That's impressive. How is it ink in turf? It's pretty freaking good, because you basically have 2 weapons, the ink comes out twice as fast, not to mention that its special, the Ink Storm, inks an insane amount of turf and damaging any opponents under it, leaving them vulnerable. I've loved this weapon ever since it first came out, and I think I'm going to continue loving these for quite a while, but really, all of these top 4 are something special. I don't know why I didn't use this weapon much earlier. I freaking love the Trislosher Nova. The base weapon is the same as the normal Trislosher, and I love that, but I prefer the sub and special combination being the exact same as the last weapon. With how much turf that Ink Storm can get combined with the base weapon, you can really rack up the points with this weapon. But it's not just turf what I find this weapon useful in, it's also my main in splat zones, as like I already said, it covers turf quickly and it's very good at splatting opponents. Also, like its clone, it's amazing at getting people below you. It's over fantastic. I have the high ground. The Ink Storm is also amazing for splat zones, as the opponents will have fun dealing with the ink they can't stop coming down and damaging them in the zone, so one more chuck of this weapon should do them in. 90% of the time, this special will get back the zone on my team. In terms of inking turf and splatting, this weapon easily has the best balance of the bunch, but these last 2 weapons are some of the main reasons why I love this game so much. Like I already said, I mostly play the turf war, and there's one weapon where I've managed to win over 2,000 points in a game several times. Okay, let's get this one problem out of the way. The range is pathetic. It's the worst of all the shooters. Okay, that's all I have to complain about, because the rest of this weapon I freaking love. The fire rate on this thing is ridiculous, almost giving the Aerosprays a run for their money. Combined with a lot of run-up speed, you can ink a ridiculous amount of turf. And with that Curling Bomb allowing you to get to places quickly, and that Splashdown special where you can recover all of your ink on the spot, you can ink turf like there's no tomorrow, assuming you don't get splattered. It's also insanely useful in Clam Blitz, as all the turf you can ink can expose clam locations, and the Curling Bombs can make quick ways of reaching the basket. This weapon is why I've managed to get above S+ in Clan Blitz, and it was also the first weapon I inked 1,000,000 points with, and it's very easy to see why. The Burst Bomb is my favourite sub. The Splashdown is my favourite special. If you know your weapon kids and how much you've seen this weapon in the footage over the month, you know where this is going. It's ridiculous you can get this as early as level 2. This weapon just has everything I'm looking for in a weapon. It has a great range, a great fire rate, it does great damage, and it has no real drawbacks, so this weapon will always have an advantage over another weapon. The Summon Special combination works so well too, because even if the Splashdown doesn't one-shot somebody, a few burst bombs certainly will. I've found uses for this weapon in every single mode, and it's honestly just so much fun to use. I think this weapon probably helped make Splatoon 2 my favourite game, and it's been like that ever since I got it very early on in the game's lifespan. Even using it today, it takes me back to those early days of Splatoon 2, where my teammates are just as bad as they are today, and that is why it's easily my favourite weapon in Splatoon 2. But I'm interested to hear what your favourite weapons are. Comment below, I'd love to hear. And thank you for watching Splatoon 2 Mob. Hope to see you soon. Stay awesome, guys.